Welcome back to Dive into Boca Ciega Bay. My name is Kirsten Smail, and I am a marine specialist on board the Dolphin Quest in Madeira Beach, Florida. Today, we are going to see one of the bay's most gentle creatures, the manatee, and I get to go swimming with them. I'm so excited! Manatees are often called sea cows because they love to graze on seagrasses. These calm and curious creatures sometimes approach boats, kayaks, and even humans. But don't worry, manatees are as sweet as can be. Adult manatees are usually 9 to 10 feet long and weigh about 1,000 pounds. But they can grow to be as large as 3,000 pounds and up to 13 feet long. Manatees are the ocean's largest herbivore. Herbivores are animals that eat plants like seagrasses, grasses, plants, stems, and fruits. Herbivores play an important role in the food chain because they help control the overgrowth of plants. Manatees also fertilize the very seagrasses that they eat with their poop. Did you know that long ago, sailors confused manatees for mermaids? In fact, on January 9th of 1493, Christopher Columbus wrote in his journal that he came across 3 mermaids.
Yesterday, when I was going to the Rio del Oro, I saw 3 sirens that came up very high out of the sea. They were not as beautiful as they are painted, since in some ways they have a face like a man.
The scientific name for manatees is Sirenia, which is derived from the Greek sirens that were dangerous sea nymphs that would lure sailors with their songs onto the rocky cliffs. I've heard people refer to manatees as floating baked potatoes, and I can definitely see why. Manatees have gray, leathery skin, but sometimes it turns brown because algae actually grows on their slow-moving bodies. Manatees start their day munching on seagrass, and they eat a lot. Manatees can eat as much as 300 pounds of seagrass every day. Now let me put that into perspective for you. That is like you eating 1,200 quarter-pound hamburgers every single day. Crazy. Manatees will spend up to 8 hours eating. Eating all of that roughage does create what we call flatulence. And flatulence is just a fancy word for a fart. Boop. Manatees appear to be fat because of their large, rotund bodies, but in actuality, manatees have very little body fat. Instead, most of their bulk comes from their great big stomachs and their intestines. Crazy fact, if you stretch out a manatee's intestines, they can be as long as 150 feet long. That is almost as long as a basketball court. Now let's have a look at the unique anatomy of manatees as they are perfectly suited for life underwater. We will begin with that adorable face. Manatees have about 2,000 little vibrissa on their face to help them feel around their surroundings. And their lips, they are prehensile. And prehensile means that they have the ability to wrap around things. So when the manatees eat, they not only use their front flippers to pull food into their bodies, but their lips can also move around and grab the food and bring it down into their mouth. It's really cool. Here's a fun fact. The manatee's closest living relative is the elephant. Check out the similarities between manatees and elephants. Those prehensile lips of a manatee are actually just a shrunken down version of an elephant's trunk. Both elephants and manatees have 1-inch thick gray leathery skin. Now let's look at those front flippers compared to an elephant's foot. They both have toenails. Manatee front flippers are jointed to help them move around underwater, bring food to their mouths, and hold on to objects. Manatees have a mouth full of teeth, but don't worry, they don't bite. However, chewing 300 pounds of seagrass every day does wear their teeth down. Luckily, manatees and elephants have what we call marching molars. The teeth will start growing in the back of the jaw and move forward throughout their lives. And as the old ones wear down in the front, new ones will take their place. It's kind of like a tooth conveyor belt. Now let's take a look at their huge, flat, paddle-like tails. The manatees use their tails to propel themselves through the water in an up and down motion like this. They usually swim at about 3 to 5 miles an hour, but they can swim as fast as 20 miles per hour in short bursts. Even though they live in water, manatees still have to come up to the surface to breathe. They usually come up to the surface every 3 or 4 minutes to take a breath, but they can hold their breath for as long as, get this, 24 minutes. How do they do that? Well, let's take a look at the unique manatee lungs. Whereas human lungs are positioned around the heart inside of the rib cage, manatee lungs are long, thin, and flat and are positioned just underneath the manatee's backbone. This helps them stay horizontal in the water. Now, manatee lungs are only about 2 inches high, 8 inches across, and up to 3 feet long. Combined with their dense, heavy bones, manatee lungs are also used for buoyancy control. In other words, the lungs help them move up and down in the water, just like a scuba diver. Their bones act like a weight belt, and their lungs act like a buoyancy vest. If they want to sink to the bottom to feed, all they have to do is blow a little air out of their lungs and down they go. And once they're done eating, a simple push off from the sea floor takes them right back up to the surface. Pretty cool, huh? Manatees are one of Boca Ciega Bay's most fascinating residents. They play a very important role in the ecosystem as well. Join me on our next episode as we learn more about these amazing manatees.